It's April 7th, the last hour of April 7th, the day before the solar eclipse of 2024. It's a big one for America, as we will be able to see it. It's in totality over America. I think New York will be able to see it better, but we will be able to see a very high percentage, in the 90% rate. I know in New York it will be seen in its full totality. In certain states it will be seen in its full totality. In other states it will be seen less. And I've been learning about these eclipses and the energetic shifts that come with them, that come with all celestial phenomena. And many shifts started or began with the spring equinox, a new year for me, I would say. Pope Gregory the 13th was the one who changed the calendar and made the new year as of January. But before that, and this was like, I believe in the 1400s. But before that, the New Year date was April 1st, which makes a lot more sense. A new year birthing with the coming of spring, new life sprouting. So that's when I actually like to celebrate the new year. But like I was saying, the energetic shifts began with the spring equinox, then with the lunar eclipse, because the moon presides over our emotional body. I am a Western zodiac Cancer, which the moon rules over, right? And the moon is representative of the subconscious and the emotional body. The moon is responsible for the pulling of the tides and the ebbing and the flowing and women's menstrual cycle and all kinds of things throughout nature, all kinds of phenomenon, migration of birds, countless natural phenomena. The moon is responsible for, right? So is the sun. So where the sun is presides over the emotional body and the subconscious, the moon rather, the sun is the masculine infinity, the moon being subconscious, being feminine energy, the sun is masculine energy. And that's action, taking action. On the surface, like if the moon represents subconscious, the sun is what's on the surface, what's in physical form, the physical world, the 3D. How things rise up from the subconscious and express themselves into physical form. So with these eclipses, there was a lot of emotional purging, the resurface of old emotional wounds, traumas, old scars coming to surface, wounds being reopened, but not for the purpose of just reliving them or suffering, but to re-examine, to reflect, and to purge, to once and for all understand, gain perspective. And then with the following of the solar eclipse is going to give us the energy, awakened ones, the energy to take action, to take that healing that came from that purging of the old self, the old wounds, and putting an end to that chapter, that timeline, that old self, which we have purged, we have essentially put to death. Those old behaviors, those old things, those old wounds and things that no longer serve us, old things we hang on to, behavioral patterns, stuff like that. And giving birth to new life, a new chapter, a new timeline, and we can take action and move forward in that light of the sun. I don't know if you've seen the movie Apocalypto. In the very end of the movie, Apocalypto is a lot about like the Mayans, and there's the Mayan civilization, and they did a lot of spiritual rituals. But then deep in the jungle lived these outside tribes, and one of them was named Jaguar, and his people, his tribe was death came to his tribe. The Mayan soldiers came and killed them. It took them all, killed half of them, took the rest of them prisoner. I think they killed like the children. They killed like the ones that weren't worthy, but that they didn't see fit, and then the rest they took for sacrifice, and they brought them to the city. And one of them escaped. And they tortured and killed the rest of them. They brought them up to the mountain, and they would chop their heads off on top of and not a mountain, it was a pyramid, like an altar pyramid, to present them as sacrifice, dehead them, and throw their head down the mountain in their body, and present it as a sacrifice to their deity. And then all of a sudden, in the end of the movie, the eclipse happens. So one of the guys, he escapes, and before the eclipse happens, Jaguar, he escapes, and he like fully embodies his strength. This challenge, this horrific thing that happened to his tribe, his family, even his wife, he left her in like a pit with his son, and I think she had a baby, newborn baby or something, like to hide them. And he said, "I'll be back." And she didn't think he was going to come back, but she was stuck down there with the babies. And it was real sad. So he escapes. And he, like this horrific thing that happened to him, pushes him to like transform, like fully embody that deep inner strength that he wasn't aware he really had. But the love he had for his family and the anguish that he felt for his tribe being murdered and massacred made him really dig deep and pull that warrior from within, and gave him the strength to overcome, to rise and overcome these murderers. So he embodied the strength of the jaguar. It was like he shapeshifted, but he just, in human form, he embodied the traits of the jaguar, and he saved his family. And then he escaped, he saved his family, he fought a bunch of people, and he took off with his wife. But in the very, very end, after the eclipse happens, and everyone's like, oh, it's a sign. And right when the eclipse happened, they stopped sacrificing people. I believe that's when they were just about to sacrifice the jaguar guy. I forgot his name. It was some like Mayan, like Kotubaku. I'm just guessing, I don't remember. But I don't know. I'm just guessing. But along that kind of cadence. So they stop when the eclipse happened, as if it's a sign, a divine sign from the deities that they have been, that the sacrifices are sufficient and their bloodthirst have been subdued. So, but then they were still gonna kill him just for sport, but he escaped. And then eventually he got back to his family, and he had to run and run and run because they kept chasing him into the jungle. But that was just the rest of the movie. Him running and then eventually killing them. Oh, this rose oil smells amazing. But in the very end of the movie, after the eclipse happened, you see the ships coming up from the ocean approaching the shore. And that was supposed to be Christopher Columbus and his and the Europeans coming to discover the New World. So, what I got out of that was this eclipse on a micro scale, cosmo scale. You know, it saved a man and his family. The emotional, spiritual, energetic shift that took place, and it took place, and it gave something shifted in this man's energy, and he was able to dig so deep and access that power that he wasn't aware he really had. His father gave him the name Jaguar, but he wasn't really sure of the Jaguar strength he possessed until he was put to the test, and it was life or death for him. So that transformation happened amongst the tribe. You know, the rest of them died. But then on a bigger scale, it was a huge time in history, a major shift in history when the New World was discovered. And following that, countless indigenous were murdered, and you know what happens after that. America was discovered. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. So I'm looking forward to big things to come, and try to find your inner jaguar, or what is your spirit animal? Where can you identify your transformation, or the transformation that's taking place in your life, in your timeline? Because that's what this time is all about. That's why it's so special. So with that, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'm super excited for tomorrow. So everyone, wear your glasses and don't miss the solar eclipse, April 8th, 2024. I'm from DivinaRising. Good night. Blessed be as above, so below.